Folks, here we are. We are now in the workshop. Okay, workshop again. Wanted to talk today about something different this time. We've covered toys, we've covered great decorations and props. There's another component. Okay, there's another component, Dave. I see here we've got some framed posters, comic books, magazines. Oh, yeah. Tell us. So it's not just toys. There's another component, another dimension to your exhibits, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. We've got a ton of framed, what we call flat stuff.
Yeah.
And also to mention that we've got multiple exhibits. Our premier exhibit is America's Monsters, Supers, and Heroes and Villains.
Right. Yep.
But we've got another, if that's too big, if that doesn't suit your fancy, we've got one called Spies and Space.
Right. So let's have a look at that. So we've got here, what we got here, we've got some comics by the books.
Comic books, yes. And these are comic books from the 60s, and it's all about toys of the Cold War and our paranoia during Cold War, maybe about what was coming. You know, so you got Outer Limits, we got, the history of science fiction, we've got, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Jules Verne, Flying Saucers. So that would go on the wall in Spies in Space.
And I also noticed quickly, Dave, before we next jump over, there's a lot of recognizable names here. So like people are going to walk in here and know this. It's not just obscure line. Like we've got War of the Worlds, we've got Flash Gordon. This is stuff which a lot of people are going to recognize.
Oh, yeah. And if you're a library, what's great is you can tie this in. You'll know this stuff. I mean, these are stories that haven't gotten old.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. And what else? What have we got down here?
Well, down here, since we're talking the Spies in Space exhibit of the Cold War, let me get this up in my arms.
Here we go. I'll hold it.
Yeah. So again,
There we go.
Spies in Space. The Cold War happened back when the Second World War was finished, and suddenly, the Russians, the communists, they were the bad guys. They were would-be world conquerors, and then you end up making fun of it. So what you've got is Get Smart.
Yep.
You've got Girl from U.N.C.L.E., Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was a sort of TV version of James Bond, and Mission Impossible.
So these, again, are all stuff that's still playing on television today. So everyone should know it.
Oh, yeah, Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise. They made a movie of that. They made a movie of that.
Yeah.
So these are all things that, for better or worse, people are going to recognize and go, wow, no matter who you are, you're going to go, I know that.
I love it. Now, I see over here, Dave, we have something else. It's not exactly spies. Over here we got, looks like Japanese monsters. Come on, I'll step over here from out of the way. Japanese monsters, Japanese superheroes. What have we got here?
So we've also got another exhibit that's called Fantastic Beasts. And it's all about kaiju, dinosaurs, and giant monsters. So I lived in Japan, so these are all about like Ultraman and Godzilla, and you've got, Power Rangers, and you've got all those crazy, amazing, wonderful characters out of the Japanese culture. Plus, you've got dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Plus, of course, Harry Potter has Fantastic Beasts. Plus, you've got all the great science fiction monsters that came out, the big giant Kongs.
Yes, of course.
You've got all the radioactive bugs. Yeah. And they're part of that lesser exhibit that can fit into any space.
Yeah, right. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What other ones have we got here, Dave?
Well, what we've also got is, this is like Darth Vader. This is part of our premier exhibit. Okay, You've got Darth Vader, and again, that's a premium from something. I can't remember. Darth Vader poster. And then over here, these are ginormous flat posters that came out in their day of the two different worlds of comic books.
Oh, right.
Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And then also, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right, so the Marvel and the DC.
The Marvel and the DC universe. Because they both reflect two different worlds. Definitely. They both tell two different stories that are still being told today.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, we've got a classic which everyone should know.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Now, we've got another exhibit called Mary Shelley and Her Monster. It's over 200 years old.
Big fan of this one.
First science fiction book written, over 200 years ago. So we've got toys, books, posters, ephemera, and we study how Mary Shelley's classic story is still today resonates with us. Why?
Yeah, right. Yeah, very fascinating.
Oh, yeah, we've got it all. So whatever kind of exhibit you want. Plus, here's another good one from the 50s.
Yeah, great. What about here?
Well, this is Frazetta.
I love this style of art. I think it's great.
Frazetta from the 50s. Frank Frazetta, who was one of the premier fantasy artists of the 60s, 70s, and beyond. And this is an early portfolio poster that I've got. Again, more Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, but we want to make sure that every part of the fantastic imagination of our creativity is celebrated.
Very good, Dave. Well, listen, thank you very much for showing us
Oh,
this.
sure.
I appreciate it. Anything else you want to drop in before we we climb back out into the into the sunshine again?
I think we should go out in the sunshine because, too much time down here and it's going to be a crazy time, for us to go to sleep tonight.
Yeah, it's then a bit spooky, I think.
Yeah,
so
pretty
I think it's a good
spooky.
idea, Dave.
All right. Well, thanks again to my wife, Ruth, for being the camera woman.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you later.
Cheers, folks.
Yeah, bye.